You are listening to Skin, Earth, Vitality, the podcast where ancient wisdom meets modern vitality. If you are seeking to reconnect with your innate vibrancy, you're in the right place. I'm Emily Davis, a seasoned holistic esthetician and herbalist. Join me as we unlock the secrets of ancient skincare practices, explore the beauty of seasonal and nature-based living, herbalism, and true holistic well-being for you and the broader ecosystem. Hello there, and welcome in. I hope that this episode is going to be just a short and sweet breakdown of what you need and want to know about face cupping. I love face cupping. It's a treatment that I reach for quite often, both in my professional treatments and then also at home on my own skin. And I think that out of all of the facial massage modalities or techniques, you're going to get the most bang for your buck when it comes to time with facial cupping, because you're only going to spend around 5 minutes at a time doing it, maybe up to 10 if you're ambitious, but you really don't want to be doing it for longer than that because it can be a little bit too stimulating to the skin. It's awesome because you can incorporate other modalities with face cupping, like putting on an LED mask afterwards. But even by itself, it's such a beautiful and profoundly effective way that you can just really quickly improve the appearance of your skin, and you will see immediate results. And then you're also going to see cumulative results over time. I do want to just mention today that the information provided in this podcast is for educational and informational purposes only. Nothing is intended as a substitute for professional medical advice, for diagnosis, for treatment. I'm an esthetician and I'm sharing my knowledge and experience with facial cupping just so that you can understand the practice better. Remember that results and benefits are going to vary from person to person. So always prioritize your skin's health, listen to your body, and I hope that you enjoy tuning into this episode. Today, I'm going to be talking about what face cupping is, who should avoid it, the benefits, how to do it, and then stick around till the end. And I'm going to explain what to do if you get cupping marks on your face. So what is face cupping? It's basically an inverted facial massage. So with traditional massage, we're applying pressure into the tissue, right? But with face cupping, because we are utilizing cups to create this vacuum suction on the skin, it's pulling the tissue upwards. And so in that sense, it's kind of an inside out massage. When you do it to yourself or receive it as a part of a facial treatment, the cups are placed on the skin, a vacuum suction is created, and then the cups are moved gently around. And this is going to help increase blood flow. It's going to stimulate lymphatic movement. It's going to promote the production of collagen and elastin, which I think is a really cool benefit to this modality that we don't often think about. And the reason that it does that is because when it's lifting the tissue, it's creating very tiny micro traumas in the skin. And this is not invasive. It's not painful. It should not feel painful ever. but it is creating those little micro traumas. And one of the things that happens anytime we have an injury in our skin or our epithelial tissue is that the healing cascade is kicked into effect. And one of the steps of the healing cascade is to produce more collagen. So you will get this anytime you get any kind of an injury. This is what happens like with microneedling, and that's why microneedling is so effective, is because we're kicking on this healing cascade. So face cupping is different than body cupping because it's much more gentle, and it's also a shorter duration of time because the skin on the face is obviously much more delicate than the body. And on the face, we're working on superficial layers, and then on the body, we're creating a deeper stimulation. With face cupping, we want to obviously avoid creating visible marks, although they can still happen. And as I said, I am going to talk about this today. It's definitely something you want to go into with your eyes wide open, that it is a possibility, but there are things you can do to avoid it. And when properly practiced, you're not going to see cupping marks. So on the body, our aim is to actually create cupping marks. And that is because we're working to release and draw out stagnation and metabolic waste within the tissue. So, for facial cupping, there are some contraindications, and it's important that if you are a contraindicated person or if your skin is contraindicated for cupping at this time, you definitely want to avoid it and maybe look at some different modalities so that you can avoid adverse effects. The first one is I always recommend avoiding face cupping for at least 2 up to 4 weeks after Botox, and at least 4 up to 6 weeks after filler. And you may just choose to totally forego cupping when you have had active facial injections, because the increase in lymphatic drainage is going to break down and metabolize cosmetic injections more quickly. It should be avoided over active acne lesions, and definitely avoid like sliding the cups across an active acne lesion or putting the cup right on top of an active acne lesion. But if you have acne, there are still things that you can do with the cups. You can work below the lesions. So let's say you have some breakouts on your cheekbone. You can still work on the area of your face that lands below that. So, like on the lower cheek, on the jawline, under the jawline, down the neck, across the décolleté, areas like that are all totally acceptable. And then in your facial cupping set, there is usually a little teeny tiny cup, and you can actually utilize that one and work right around the lesion in a circle by utilizing a technique called flash cupping, which is where you apply the cup with the suction and then very quickly pick it up off of the skin. And so you would do that in a bunch of little dynamic cupping, flash cupping circles right around that lesion, and it can help it to actually heal more quickly. So the next contraindication is broken or irritated skin. Any type of an active skin infection, I would definitely avoid face cupping. Any type of recent facial surgery or cosmetic procedure, you want to make sure that the skin is fully healed before you start doing any type of cupping or any type of vigorous facial massage. Blood disorders or conditions that could cause easy bruising, hemophilia, open wounds or recent injuries, severe cardiovascular conditions. Of course, if you have a sunburn or any type of burn on the skin, eczema or psoriasis, a bone fracture, and anyone who's currently undergoing cancer treatment should definitely consult with their healthcare provider prior to engaging in facial cupping. And now there are a couple of medications that I wouldn't necessarily call a contraindication, but maybe more of an area where you would exercise more caution. And these are medications that can cause blood thinning. And so this will include anticoagulants or blood thinners like warfarin, antiplatelet drugs like aspirin, NSAIDs like ibuprofen, Advil, Motrin, things of that sort. Corticosteroids like prednisone or hydrocortisone. And then there are certain herbal supplements or herbs that can thin the blood. And I know that fish is not an herb, but it is a supplement. So fish oil is one, garlic, ginger, ginkgo, things like that. You may, if you do start to see a little bit of cupping mark, it may be due to that reason. Or if your skin is sensitive and then you're also on one of those medications or supplements, definitely avoid cupping. But just, you know, find out what's right for you, but be aware of those issues. So, benefits of cupping. I just love it so much. I'm so excited to talk about it. Enhanced blood circulation is a huge benefit. So, we're bringing that fresh, juicy, oxygen rich blood up to the surface of the skin, and it's going to feed the skin cells the nutrients that they need to do their job properly. And so that's going to translate to skin being able to turn over more appropriately at the correct rate. And it's going to lead to skin looking brighter. It's going to translate to skin being able, the cells being able to communicate more effectively. And so all of this just means your skin's going to look and feel much more healthy. Next is lymphatic drainage. And this is a really big deal. And I'm so glad that it's so popular now in like aesthetics and in the wellness industry. I just think that it was an unsung hero for a very long time. And lymphatic drainage on the face is going to translate to reduced puffiness, potentially the reduction of a double chin. Often that is just fluid that's accumulated under your jawline. It's going to help the skin around your eyes look better. It can often make the whites of your eyes brighter. Definitely in this tissue around the eyes. So, reduction of under eye bags, reduction of under eye circles, tighter tissue. Even in the skin above the eyes, it can sometimes have blood pooling, which can cause that to look darker. And lymphatic drainage and specifically face cupping can help to even that tone out a little bit more. Lymphatic drainage can improve the texture of your skin. It can improve the tone of your skin, so how even the coloring is throughout. There's just so many things. It's a big deal. Um, it can also help with reduction of fine lines and wrinkles. And so this can happen through increasing the skin's natural ability to hydrate itself. It can also happen because when we have repetitive facial expressions, we get what are called dynamic wrinkles. And that is when we're making a facial expression all of the time and our muscle begins to shorten. And so facial cupping can actually help to lengthen that muscle, reducing the wrinkle. It can improve product absorption. It can sculpt your face, improve facial contours. And like I've said with everything, it can improve just your overall natural glow. And as I said before, you will see immediate results, but then you're also going to see cumulative results over time, especially for reducing the depth of wrinkles. And then over time, seeing the results for reducing acne scarring and even helping to reduce the appearance of hyperpigmentation. So, where do you get cups? I carry my favorite face cups in my curated skincare shop online. So, I will link them in the description. I think they're really pretty, they're very soft, and they are durable. And then I also have my videos on YouTube that will show you how to actually do the face cupping. I'm working to continue to build up that library. But when we'll start with when should you do the face cupping? And I like to tell people that when they're first starting out to do a face cupping challenge and maybe do it daily for like 21 days to up to 28 days, and make sure that you're taking a before and after photo, like one before the 28 days and then one after, so that you can really see the difference if you can't see it already, which I'm sure you will. And then morning or evening, which one is better? I get asked this all the time, and my answer is always the best time to do it is when you're actually going to do it. And everyone's different. For some people, it works better for them and their schedule in the morning. For some people, it's easier to do it in the evening. If both are equally accessible to you, I would choose evening so that you're not applying makeup to your skin right after. And so also you can turn it into like a nice little relaxing wind down experience. A face cupping should never be painful. This is just like a really great self love activity. And so it's a great meditative practice to get into right before bed. So, when you're doing it, always start with freshly cleansed skin and with clean hands. And you always want to apply a pretty good amount of facial oil first, usually more than you think you need. You want to have quite a bit of slip, because if there's not enough slip, you can cause cupping marks. This is one of the ways that I see people cause cupping marks. And you can use an oil-based serum, a facial balm, a facial oil that's suitable for your skin. Jojoba oil is a great option that's commonly tolerated amongst most skin types. And I am secretly working on an oil that will be out in the near future, that I hope to be out in the near future, that will come with my cups. But the point is, you want an oil that you like that will allow the cups to glide smoothly over the skin. So when you're doing it, your face cups are smaller than body cups. And so these small, soft cups are going to be squeezed and then placed on the skin. And then you would release while it's still on the skin to create a vacuum, and then gently move this across the skin, in general, from the center of the face outward, following the structure of the muscle and the direction of lymphatic movement. The facial cups are, as I said, smaller than body cups. And then there are also little teeny tiny cups. And the tiny cups, as I said before, can be really helpful around an acne lesion, but they're also fantastic around the lips, helpful for plumping, for fine lines around the lips, fantastic around the eyes. I never go inside of the orbital bone, so just hang out on that circular bone that goes around your eye. But the tiny cup is fantastic for that. It can also be utilized for detail work, like on specific wrinkles. And then the larger of the facial cups is meant for larger areas of the face. So the jawline, under the jawline, the cheeks, the forehead. And then there's two different types of movements. So I already talked about the flash cupping, which is where you're squeezing, applying to the face, pulling off right away. And that would be like, a half of a second that it's on the face. And then we have dynamic cupping. And this is continuous gliding movements. So you squeeze the cup, apply it to your skin, release your hand, and then you can glide the cup across the face. Again, watch my YouTube channel and it can help. I often also will post face massage videos on my Instagram page. The biggest thing that you want to remember here is not to park the cup on the skin in any one place for more than 2 seconds. This will also help you to avoid cupping marks. You can cup your face anywhere, like I said, from 5 to 10 minutes. You don't want to do too much more than that because it can overstimulate your skin. And then after cupping, you can apply a nice warm, not hot, but warm compress to your skin and then apply your moisturizer as normal. Or alternatively, if your skin feels okay, if you like the oil serum that you're using as a leave-on product, you can leave that on and just go to sleep right after. And that is your moisturizer, basically. It is important that you clean your facial cupping tools thoroughly in between each use. Definitely wash them with warm water and a mild soap, rinse and dry them completely. You can also spray them with isopropyl alcohol, and that can help to disinfect them. You just don't want to be transferring bacteria back to your skin all of the time. And also the oils that build up on the facial cups, they're going to be sitting there exposed to air and that will oxidize them. And when facial oil is oxidized, it can be quite inflammatory and not great for the skin's microbiome. So washing them is important. And then moving on to cupping marks, as I promised. I get asked about this a lot. And if you mark your face with your cup, don't worry, you're not the first person. I've done this to myself plenty of times. It does not often happen in the treatment room, but it is possible. And I just think it's always important that we go into any treatment with eyes wide open, knowing that it is possible when we're doing this that cupping marks can happen. They basically look like a circular dot or discoloration on the skin that can range in color anywhere from pink to deep red. They can even become purple. All of this is dependent on the intensity of the suction and the level of stagnation in underlying tissue. So remember, when we're doing body cupping, we're doing that on purpose. We're trying to pull stagnation and cellular waste and quote unquote toxins, which can look like all kinds of stuff, out of the tissue. And so it's not necessarily a bad thing when you get a facial cupping mark. Like, you're actually doing a good thing. You're bringing all of that fresh blood to the surface. But again, it's not ideal. We don't really want to walk around with a big purple dot in between our eyebrows. What they are, it's not a bruise, it's more like a hickey. And that's because the vacuum increases blood flow to the area and it's bringing that stagnated blood and other fluids to the surface. And with a bruise, that's going to be blood vessels that are ruptured due to trauma. And the cupping marks are more like suction-induced dilation of the capillaries. And then there's minor leakage happening there where blood cells and then other interstitial fluid, like the fluid in between our cells from the vessels, come up into the surrounding tissue and it leaks out. And the body will reabsorb it, but it can last from a few days up to a couple of weeks, depending on your individual healing rate and the intensity of that treatment. So the three things you can do to avoid cupping marks is: one, pay attention to any contraindications and do not use cupping if you're contraindicated. Two, use an adequate amount of oil. This should be quite a bit of slip, probably more than you think you need. And then number three, not letting the cup stay parked in any one area for more than 2 seconds. But it can happen. It's possible. So what can you do if you got a cupping mark to help them fade faster? The first thing is to stay hydrated, drinking plenty of water to help your body flush that out and support the reabsorption. Next is doing some gentle facial massage to promote circulation. This can enhance the blood flow, help break down those marks, but you do, of course, want to avoid pressing too hard to prevent further damage. So don't cause a bruise in an area where you have a face cupping mark. Next is a warm compress to increase blood flow. So this can be just like a warm towel, or I use diapers often. Like unstitched cloth diapers are my preferred facial towels. So you can apply a warm compress to the area for like 5 to 10 minutes a few times a day. Next is arnica gel or cream. Arnica can encourage the body to reabsorb that pooled blood more quickly. So just apply that on the area following the product instructions. Next is a topical vitamin K. This can often come in like a cream. You would find it at a drugstore. You could order it online. Vitamin K helps with blood clotting and can reduce the appearance. And then finally, gentle exercise like yoga or Pilates can help to improve circulation and help the body reabsorb that pooled blood as well. So, to wrap up, facial cupping is a beautiful, fantastic modality that can help to improve the both appearance and the health of your skin from the inside out. It's one of my absolute favorite go-tos for face massage. It is very rare that I don't see a pretty big difference with the skin over time. So I hope that you have been inspired to pick them up. In this episode, I covered what face cupping is. We talked about who should avoid it, who's contraindicated, and then what medications you may exercise a bit more caution around. We talked about all of the beautiful benefits of facial massage or facial cupping massage and why it's such a lovely practice to incorporate in your regular skincare regimen. We talked about how to do it and how you're going to go watch some of my YouTube videos to get an even better idea. And when you order my cups, I actually send a little card that breaks down the directions in much more detail than we got into today. And we finally talked about what to do if you do get facial cupping marks. So until next week, when I will be back, I hope that you are well, and I shall talk to you then. Take care. You've been listening to Skin, Earth, Vitality. If you liked what you heard today, consider giving me a 5-star rating. It helps other people just like you to find this show. You can shop products and find all of my offerings on my website at stratumaesthetics.com. And be sure to follow me on my social channels at Stratum Aesthetics.